Good evening. Welcome to the Man Cave. As you can probably tell from the background, we're not in our normal spots. This is the movie couch where we discuss movies, TV shows, and we haven't been here for a bit. I think the last thing we did was Mole.
We discussed Mall here, yeah. That wasn't a movie, but that was in May.
Right.
Still TV show stuff.
So now we are coming back. We have finally got to see Supergirl. Now, we both wanted to see Supergirl opening weekend. It didn't happen because, well, we were on vacation, and it took a while for us to get back in the swing of things. Now that we have, this was our first weekend back that we just got through, and we went to see Supergirl yesterday. So, what do we think?
Me can start?
Sure.
Or me can start. Me can start.
As you can tell, we didn't buy anything swag for the movie because it wasn't offered.
Also, I spent all my money in South Dakota, so I have no money right now. All right, I have $16.
But we would have got the popcorn bucket if there was a Supergirl popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
Or at least one of the big cups.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't have any.
Because we try to get one of each, is what we try to go through usually.
But, okay, what did you think? Was it worth going to the theater?
I thought, as somebody who didn't pay for it 100%.
That's fair.
I think it was how much money was the ticket? Do you remember?
Well, we spent $80. No, we spent $78 total. And 46 of that was on food.
So that's what, around 30?
Around
no,
20.
24.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, 26.
So 26.
26 divided by 4. Mm-hmm. So 4 goes into 20.
About $12.50 a piece.
I don't know. I don't want to do math
right now.
now.
About $12.50 a piece because we went to
No, we did prices. 4.
$12.50 times 4.
No, $12.50 and $12.50 is 25.
Okay, so $6.50 times 4.
I don't know. I don't care anymore. Never mind.
6 and 6.
Oh wait, yeah, no, that's
13
more, yeah.
and 13, which would be 26.
Yeah. So
yeah.
6 and that. So
$6.50
yeah,
a piece.
for sure. I think it was worth the price. We're great at math on the
This
spot.
is the math channel. But the thing is, movie wise,
I thought it was really good. I really liked it, and I would be willing to go again in theaters. I liked it a lot. To be fair, I kind of say that about most movies, but I really, really liked the movie.
Well, and as the person who did pay for it, for me, you, and your brother and sister, I also thought that I got my money's worth from the movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I also think I can understand where a lot of the negative feedback is coming from, but I believe they're wrong.
So I didn't want to look at any spoilers for it. I had no spoilers. All I knew going into the movie was that Supergirl was going to be in it, obviously because of the title. I knew Crypto would be in it, and I knew that Lobo was going to appear.
Okay.
And then I knew it was going to be like she would be going around to run planets to get drunk. Okay. That's all I knew about it going into it at all.
Which is kind of what we had just had set up for the teaser from Superman.
And then right before before we watched it, I had been hearing things, but all I had heard was that everyone was like, I think Lobo is overshadowing Supergirl. And I don't like Supergirl at all because Lobo overshadows her entirely and it's a Lobo movie, not a Supergirl movie. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, but whatever, I don't want spoilers. Right. And I still, now since coming back, haven't watched anything on it. Okay. And I don't think I really want to because of how much negativity there is.
That's fair.
But I completely off that criticism don't agree with it or understand it at all.
That's fair.
It makes no sense to me. I think Supergirl is very clearly the main character. I don't think Lobo is a main. I wouldn't even call him a main character.
No, he's a
I would call him.
character.
He's a supporting character. I wouldn't say a full-on side character. I'd say he's a secondary character.
Yes. He's a bit of a plot convenience occasionally.
And really not even, like, he saves Supergirl at the end a little bit when she's being shot by the kryptonite arrows.
Right.
That's it.
Which she was already overcoming on her own.
Yep. But for it to be the main character, you have to have an arc and be growing throughout the film, beginning to the film and end of the film, to be a different person.
Yes.
The only character that works for is
the two main
Supergirl,
leads.
And I don't know her name. They said it a bajillion times, and I didn't pay attention to it.
Of the whatever dynasty. The one whose parents get killed.
The 13-year-old.
Spoilers!
The 13-year-old. the main girl that's not Supergirl.
Right.
Her. Totally with the sword.
Yes.
Sword Girl.
Okay.
That's her name now.
Whatever.
Anyway, Sword Girl grows, Supergirl grows.
Yes.
Nobody else grows.
Correct. Lobo does his thing, and then that's it. We see Lobo. Lobo does what Lobo does, and then Lobo goes away, and that's kind of what Lobo is known for. People are like, "Oh,
that was fun."
There's an opposite criticism that says, "Oh, there wasn't enough Lobo." There wasn't supposed to be. This isn't a Lobo movie. That will come later, I'm sure. Jason Momoa is not done with this character. This is a character he's wanted to play for a long time.
But I don't know if Lobo is the kind of character who needs his own movie.
More than
I feel
likely,
like Lobo is the kind of character who does what he does in Supergirl. He shows up, kind of causes chaos, kind of is like an anti-hero leaning, I'm just doing whatever the heck I want.
He's very much Deadpool for the DC universe.
Without the fourth wall breaking.
Without the fourth wall breaking.
But unkillable, all that makes sense.
He's unkillable chaos, throw him in something. Sometimes he's a force who overall is kind of a good guy. He was even in Justice League for a little while. Sometimes he's an overall villain, but at the end of the day, he's the main man. And like they even said in this movie, he has a code. He never breaks his word. Mm-hmm. That's about it. Yeah. You know, and he's kind of a jerk who kills for money. And that's
not for sport.
Not for sport ever. But that's Lobo. And I mean, there's other things about Lobo that I'm sure that they'll put in other things that develop. Like he's got a thing for dolphins, especially space dolphins. He's got a relationship with his motorcycle, which we kind of see a little bit in this one. But again, this wasn't a Lobo movie; it was a Supergirl movie. And to come back to, they call this Woman of Tomorrow, which is based and adapted from.
Not anymore. Now the movie's only called Supergirl.
Okay, but
they took care of the subtitle.
But here's the thing: they never said this is a movie adaptation of a comic book. They said this is a comic book where the story was influenced by that comic. And so anybody who says, well, this wasn't the comic, no kidding, it wasn't supposed to be. And there were parts of this movie that were way better than the comic. To be blatantly honest, the middle of that is a great comic. I bought the graphic novel. I own the graphic novel. I've read it twice now. It's a good story. But there's parts of the story in the middle that are a little lagging. That's a little long, and it would not make a good cinematic experience. So I understand the cuts that they made to make it a good movie. Mm-hmm. Other criticisms that we've heard, or that I've heard that I'm sharing with you, it doesn't do enough for world building for James Gunn's universe. Now, this one I can understand, because it doesn't do much of any of that. People were looking at this as this is going to be I
don't think it was supposed to.
Exactly, but people don't understand that. The expectation of this movie, people are like, oh, this is going to be the movie that shows why James Gunn is being given his cinematic vision to create the new DCEU, and this will be all better than the Zack Snyderverse.
We're not late stage DC.
Thank you.
Though.
Here's
we
the
are
thing.
This is the second the fourth project of the whole thing.
Right. So if we compare this to Marvel, which has got their cinematic universe that was really, really good, then went to a low stage. We're hoping is coming back.
If we compare it to that,
this was
movie-wise, it'd be Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk, and this was better than Incredible Hulk.
And if we even go project-wise, which we maybe kind of should,
it would be Iron Man 2.
It would be Thor. It'd be Thor.
Oh, this was way better than Thor.
Because you have Peacemaker, you have Superman, you have Creature Commandos, and now you have Supergirl.
You also kind of have the Suicide Squad. It's referenced, it's canon.
Okay, well then if we're 5, then we're Captain America.
Okay.
I think this movie is better than all of Phase 1, except for Avengers, and maybe Iron Man 1. They're very different movies, so that's a hard comparison.
That's fair. But, I mean, that's the thing, too. When you're looking at those types of cinematic universes, everybody was so worried about building up the universe that they forgot to tell a story. Mm-hmm. Right? If you look at Zack Snyder's verse, that's the problem with most of his movies. When we discussed Superman, when we came out of that movie, I remember my feeling was that's Superman. He's exemplifying hope. He's something that the universe can build on. That's what Superman's supposed to be. That's not who Supergirl is. Supergirl is a much darker character than her cousin. She's lived through much more trauma than her cousin.
And that was shown, I thought, very well.
And they did
very, very well.
The stuff that they did with the flashbacks for her origin, because this wasn't supposed to be, it's an origin. It wasn't an origin movie. But the pieces of her origin that they shared, very pertinent to the story, very, very well done, and it contributed greatly to that arc you were talking about that she goes through. So,
I haven't read the comic that it was supposed to be adapting. How much of her backstory in the movie is from the comic? Because my understanding is it's not like the comics.
The comic goes more intense.
I know her backstory.
The comic goes much more intense in the whole the whole part where she talks about Krypton, the gods are too cruel for that to be the end, for Krypton to just die, and so Argo's floating around. All that's in the comic, but the people slowly get poisoned, and then they try to figure out how to fix that, and then that fails, and so It's
a little bit longer, yeah.
Yeah. And so the way they summarized it up.
So Argos is a floating city just somewhere in space.
Argo, yes,
or whatever.
It was a floating city of Krypton that was saved by Jor-El's brother.
Okay.
That's all real.
Never
and that
knew
was
that.
even from there was a Supergirl movie years ago that was supposed to be connected to the Christopher Reeve Superman. And Christopher Reeve was even going to do a cameo in it like Superman did in this one. But he said no. He said, no, I don't want to do that. The movie's a little too corny. And it was a little bit cornbally. And they had Jimmy Olsen star in it, so that's how you got their little crossover bits.
Because I didn't know that. I thought
yeah,
Krypton blows up.
That's how she's his cousin.
Because
she comes from the floating city of Argo.
Yeah, because my understanding was that she was sent first to watch him, but then she gets stuck in a wormhole.
And that's the old.
That's the old one.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know the new one existed.
When she leaves Krypton, there's the wormhole thing happens a couple of times. This new way of doing it was first brought up in the comic book that this adapts, which is another new origin for her.
Oh, so this is a new way of doing her origin.
Yes, because the last one they did in DC's finest Batman Superman books, when she comes down to Gotham and then gets rescued by Wonder Woman and fought over and all. They changed that into what it is now. And
I think I like this.
What I did like
better.
very much that they did in the movie that they didn't do in the comic was show her arrival on Earth in that spaceship when she's got Krypto in her lap and she lands near the Fortress of Solitude and Superman's waiting for her. And so when the ship opens up, he welcomes her to the planet and he's like, oh, he's got that goofy farm boy boisterousness and he's all happy and friendly.
And he's like, we're not all like this. I'm from Kansas. You know what Kansas is? Wait, obviously you know what Kansas is. You don't even know what I'm saying. So why am I still talking?
All of that stuff that's
like that was all fun.
And the thing is that greatly reflected the difference between the two characters. We see her go, even in the flashbacks that we see her go through such darkness, such trauma at such a young age. And Clark has never really had that. So he has a hard time relating to that, which again shows the relationship that these two have. The one thing that James Gunn has over Zack Snyder, and I will die on this hill, I don't care what, you all can hate me,
I think there's a lot of things that he has over Zack Snyder.
But the character building, the relationships, the way people interact with one another in a very human, even if they're alien, way. And that comes through so well. The heart is here. The first movie in the series, I recognize the hope. In this one, I very much recognize the heart, and that is the conflict that we see is Kara trying to find peace within her heart to develop who she actually is. So that arc that the character does, it was very much there. It was very well done. And as a story, I thought this was really good. As a character piece, I thought this was really good. And I thought there was good action in it. People have bagged on the villain. And you're like, oh, the villain's too basic. Well,
does Supergirl have villains?
Well, and that's the thing. You don't want to build up a villain to be this great thing that you're then going to dispose of. And, again, spoilers, in almost all the Marvel movies, we get rid of all the villains. We've seen Loki live and die, but most of the villains get killed off. They're useless. They're gone. This guy had a purpose. And I did like that they changed him a little bit. That's one of the things that they changed a great deal from the comics to this is the motivation of the little girl. Her family, her dad makes these beautiful weapons, these swords. The brigands come down. They're like, we want these swords, and no. But the mom is like, just give them what they want and they'll go away. The problem is when you appease somebody, they go away, but then they come back and they want more. They want more. They want more. Kind of like with, A Bug's Life, kind of like with World War II.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole we know that this happens. And so when things go a little bit sideways and things start to go wrong, the guy he gives her motivation. This is why she wants him dead. Then later we find out that these guys are also human traffickers who are taking all these girls from these planets because they are an all-male group and they need to keep repopulating their own, because they don't trust outsiders, so they make their own progeny to carry on. It's like, dude, that's screwed up. That's some major screwed up stuff. And for Kara to decide, okay, no, this isn't happening, that's a great thing. She fixes this. So we don't need to know the bad guy really well, just like we don't need to know why that guy had a bounty on his head that Lobo was after. We just know he did.
Yeah.
And they're bad guys. Who cares? It could be generic bad guy number 3. You know, in G.I. Joe, you have a bunch of faceless Cobras. In Avengers, we had a bunch of faceless Ultrons or Chitauri. You know?
Ultrons.
All
like
there was
the Black Order, like those
who
people.
was the leader of the Chitauri? I don't know.
I mean,
they were working
Loki.
for Thanos, then they were working for Loki, but who was their leader? Who knows? It was just one of them. Might have been that guy. Might have been that guy that what's his face from Guardians turns his head on backwards. I don't know.
Not the other. Is it the other?
Maybe
it's the other.
But that's the thing. None of these you can't remember any of the villains. The villains are not the big thing. The villains are an obstacle that your hero has to go through. Your villains are an obstacle that gets in the way that provides the reason for the arc. This villain did that. All of the he did everything he's supposed to do.
Not all villains have to be characters.
Right.
Obviously, some villains are characters, like Killmonger and Black Panther is amazing.
But we don't.
But that's because that's part of the story scene to be a character. This, you don't need that.
This isn't Doctor Doom, for God's sake.
No,
this is some dude that's pissing off Supergirl, so that Supergirl can have a conflict to help her work through her issues, so that she is ready to go back to Earth to become the hero that Clark sees her capable of being.
And this is not the kind of hero that has like a it's not like it's Spider-Man where it's like, oh, here's a nobody character.
Yes.
This is Supergirl doesn't have a rogues gallery, to my knowledge. And if she does, it's a very small one.
She's out in space getting drunk.
It's the same complaint that people had with Captain America. It's like, okay, Captain America's got like 3 villains, and they're all Hydra. They're Hydra or they're the Super Society.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why is the Hulk villain getting involved?
Because we need a villain.
Yeah, they need a villain, and this one has been.
Although I do have to say,
wings.
I did like this movie better than the new Captain America as well.
I agree.
Of the superhero movies,
but it also feels like
lately,
this movie is not like this is not like a we're gonna make a Supergirl trilogy off this. It's like here's a movie setting up this character who will be like a major player, but will be a supporting and side character in other people's things, not necessarily her main character again.
Okay, that's good. And we've talked about the basis of the movie itself. What about the basis of the character? What did you think of Miley Alcock's Supergirl?
I thought it was great. I thought she acted very well. I thought it was really good acting.
She's almost the age of this character.
Yes, she's 3 years older than the character is meant to be.
And so I thought she portrayed that perfectly. It's this young, still fairly young girl trying to find her way in a world where she literally is an alien. And the only family she still has, the only connection she still has to her past is 1, her dog, and 2, her cousin that they don't really get along because they have not experienced anything close to the same type of life. They're both Kryptonian, but they barely even share that in common. He was never raised on Krypton, didn't even know the language, had no clue about anything. It's all this vague thing to him. She lived that life, had a mom, had a dad, saw her mom die of cancer in front of her, saw her whole planet, her whole city, which for her was her whole planet, dying off, knowing she can do nothing to save them. And then being given the weight to be, you are our future, so we need you to go and have that future for us. That's huge. And the responsibility given to that young girl who then is carrying this into her teenage and now young 20s years. I really liked that the age that they picked for the actors, Corn Sweat versus Alcott, they're about the same distance apart as Kara and Clark.
Yeah, they're supposed to be, 8 years apart in universe. Because she says when he gets sent off, so I guess he's maybe a year. How old is he when he? Do you know how old?
He's a baby.
Let's say he's a year old or something.
Okay. I don't even think he's that old.
Let's say he's 2 months old, so he's 0.
Yeah.
She said that was 8 years before I was born or whatever.
Exactly.
So their distance is supposed to be 8 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He's 36 or something.
I think. Yeah.
37.
37.
So okay, he's about 10. He's about 10 years older than the actor.
Right.
And the characters are
a
little bit younger because she's 23, so that means he's 31.
Yeah.
31.
Yeah. So they're really close, and they play that well. And I really like how Superman is Clark Kent. That's how he identifies. He is Clark. His birth name is Kal-El, but he didn't even know that. He is Clark, and he was raised as Clark. She, even when she talks to that little girl, she's Kara. That's who she is. She doesn't identify Supergirl. When the girl sees the costume, she's like, "Oh, but you have this. I'll bring this costume to her, and that'll make things better." And she's like, "It's just a costume. It's just a silly costume." It's just, and she tries to fight against. I'm not a hero. She's trying that the arc is for her to embrace her being a hero. And by the time she goes back to Earth at the end and she's talking to Clark and she says, "I'm ready to come home," and
I'll stay a while.
Right.
Whatever, yeah.
He's elated. He's like, "Oh my goodness, I have family again." He's constantly looking for that connection. And she's finally in a place where she can receive the connection he's trying to offer her, that love, that thing. So as a character, not the arc was incredible, and she pulled that off so well. She's very believable as somebody who is gone through this trauma, is trying to get through this trauma, and in a very John Wick-like moment, somebody messes with her dog, and it activates her, and that's fine. And even when she's going through this, and the whole point is, I need to help my dog. I need to help my dog. When she is at her lowest, and she's sitting there, she thinks she's dying, and she's like, I failed Crypto, not because she didn't help him, but because she didn't stay with him as he was dying. And I was like, wow, as a pet owner, that too is something that you struggle with. So I thought she pulled it off. It was perfection.
And I think that's very good, because if we look back at Superman, one of the biggest complaints that I kept seeing was, Crypto is such an annoying character. Where it's like, first of all, when he was first introduced in the comics, he's meant to be an annoying character.
Yes.
Like, he's just meant to be, what if your dog had superpowers and was super strong and could fly and was just like, I'm going to play fetch with this.
Right.
And, like, the cover of whatever comic it was, I watched, like, a thing where it was, like, when he first introduced, like, the cover is, like, him taking a bank and Superman's going, like, saying, oh, no, Crypto thinks we're playing fetch with the bank I just brought back, or whatever is going on. Right. So, like, but everyone was like, Crypto's a bad dog. And then this movie helped show why Crypto is so important to Kara.
Right.
And that, because, like,
he's her emotional center.
She meets Crypto when her mom is dead and they're doing the funeral.
The funeral, yeah. And that's the other thing, too. Kara has never been able to be a centered person. Mm-hmm. So how do you train a dog? So that dog's energy, he's as wild as she is. And even more so because he has no sense of propriety. She at least has an idea, And so I think that in this movie they had to remove the dog for a moment, because they're not writing a story about the dog. Where would he fit in? The chaos element was already going to be Lobo. It didn't need to be the puppy. So it gave that motivation, explained that heart, and it shows her tie to Crypto. Now, as things move on, will Crypto be better behaved? Probably. She'll probably start figuring out how to train him, because now she is more grounded. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really good. We saw when Crypto was with Clark that he even then he wasn't grounded. He was like, hey, whatever, dude, I can do it. I'm going to go destroy your fortress.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that movie, when we saw it's not his dog, that makes sense. And now we see even more why that, like you said, why the dog is important to her and how they reflect on each other. Like an owner and their pet a lot of times start to take on each other's personality quirks.
Again with the Lobo thing, you can see, like, when the opening credits, when they were saying all the different actors who are in it.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't time it, but David Cornsweet's name is shown first before Jason Momoa.
Yes.
And I'm almost guarantee he's in it more than Lobo.
Yes, I think
and
so.
no one's like, it's a Superman movie, because Superman's in it way more.
Superman was in it before Lobo, too, because of
he's in it before, he's in it after,
Yeah, so, and that's the thing, too.
And it's like, it's not, no one's being like, it's a Superman movie because Superman's in it. No, because obviously he's there to prop up Kara. He's not on his own journey or arc at all.
Right.
And it's like, because Lobo's part of the action, that must mean it's a Lobo movie. It's a ridiculous argument. That makes no sense at all.
I 100% agree with you. And I'm thinking some of the people who even made that argument didn't watch the movie. It seems like a lot of the people who are complaining about this movie watched a different movie than I did, or went in expecting something different. If you expected this to be, this is the tentpole of DC Universe, and this is why this new universe exists, you're in for a disappointment, because that's not what this movie does. But like you said, it's never what this movie was supposed to do. We've had 2 movies now, Superman, which I very much enjoyed, and Supergirl. And you said something yesterday that I think was phenomenally profound, and I'm going to repeat it.
Okay.
You said that Superman was a more fun movie, but this was a better movie.
Other way around.
It was the other way around? Okay.
Superman's a better movie, I think. But I think Supergirl is way more fun, and I think it's more rewatchable.
Okay.
Like, Superman, They're both amazing movies. Like Superman, I can watch and be like, that was a great movie. I don't need to watch it tomorrow or whatever. Like I can go like 2 years without watching Superman again.
I don't know about that. I've seen it 3 times.
I mean, think like Marvel. It's not like, oh, I want to watch Iron Man every day of the week. It's like, okay, watch Iron Man. Okay, I'll rewatch the stuff maybe like a couple years or something.
Right.
Supergirl, I watched yesterday. I could watch it right now.
Okay.
And
that's fair.
Be really enjoy with it, really engage with it, and have just as much fun.
Right.
I think I thought it was really, really good.
I did too. The only thing that annoyed me was the Kryptonian, when they were speaking Kryptonian, then they put the English subtitles on, so you had to read to keep up. I wish that they had said, okay, we're just going to do that thing where when they're talking together, we're just going to assume that they're talking.
I was so good with that. My brain didn't even process they were talking not English.
Oh yeah, they were speaking Kryptonian.
Because I watch subtitles with everything I am able to. So I was like, okay, reading subtitles, and then when it went back to English, I was like confused, like, wait, where'd the subtitles go? I didn't even process that they weren't speaking English. But that was the only moment. I was so fine with reading it.
That was the only thing that pulled me a little bit out of the film, was just that. And then as the story is progressing and certain things happening, I was like, dude, don't trust this person. Dude, don't trust
Seth
that person.
Rogen's voice kept pulling me out whenever he talked. I'm like,
the bus driver guy? Yeah.
And his voice isn't like.
We are pretty sure it was him.
I almost guarantee it's.
I didn't look it up.
It's the weird laugh guy.
Yeah.
It's Seth. I think that's Seth Rogen. I don't know. It's the guy who plays Bob in Monsters vs. Aliens.
Yeah.
It's the guy with the weird laugh all the time. That's who it is. But anyways, whenever I'm like, this character is too small to have this kind of like this
the gravitas.
This voice does not fit this character, and it's throwing me off.
But I think that was also part of the joke.
Yeah, I know, and it wasn't like it's a bad movie. Now he's in it. He says like 4 things. Like it wasn't bad at all. It was like his voice doesn't match his character at all, which is obviously the joke.
I want to bring up the rating of this movie. It was PG-13.
Okay.
I did have my 9 and my 11-year-old at it because they both love super people. They like superhero movies. They both had a great time. I didn't think that there's anything too adult in there. The idea of human trafficking sucks, but I think they might have missed part of that. The whole bride thing. They were like, "Oh, we got to save those people," but I don't think they might not have really gathered why that was going on.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy over. I thought that was handled and
that's what I'm saying. I think it was done very, very well, because at the end of the day, this is still a comic book movie, and comic books are made for kids and fans of comiks, and
that's not to say you can't have a comic book movie that's darker and more serious. You can for sure have that, but Supergirl doesn't need to be that.
Right, and that's another thing I wanted to bring back to the Snyderverse. In the Snyderverse, we started with Man of Steel, and Man of Steel was a very dark movie, which sort of took the hope away from the Superman story. It wasn't there. So by the time we get to Batman v Superman,
number 2,
you could believe that Superman, when they accused Superman of killing all these people in some country, including Jimmy Olsen for some reason. Anyway, people were believing that, and that's not. Superman is mom and pop, American ideals. He's the Boy Scout, and James Gunn's version of Superman has been made into that now. The universe of DC, the way it is right now, the age of superheroes that we exist in today, is because of Superman and his influence in the universe. That's what that is. Superman started being Superman, and that opened up the floodgates to all these other heroes to be heroes. And he gave them something to aspire to. I think Cornsweet pulls that off, and I think that Alcott shows that that's how another character would aspire to be like her cousin. And throughout this arc, you start to see how she starts to accept that responsibility. I can step up and be this. And so I think that if that's what James Gunn was trying to do, and I believe it was, he batted out of the park. It was perfect. It was exactly what it was intended to do. It did what it needed to do. It was entertaining. I don't agree with or necessarily understand all of the hate that this movie is getting. I wish it had done better on the big screen. I do think that it was a critical success according to our ratings here at the Cave.
So, we've talked a lot about everyone in the movie, but we haven't really talked about the 13-year-old that much at all.
Okay, I don't know who the actress was because I'm not real good at that all the time.
I thought she was really good,
but I thought she did well. She was she was the most believable, stable pieces in that movie. She has an emotional core. She has something bad happen to her. Her emotional core is questioned. She decides, I'm going to do this thing. She goes on this path of self-destruction, of revenge, I'm going to do this. And Kara is the foil to her. So they're helping each other kind of go through their arc simultaneously. And I thought for a young actress that this girl did an amazing job.
I would have
Not one time did her performance pull me out of that film ever.
Oh no, I thought she was
I
so
thought
engaging. The acting was
she was so good.
Amazing. I wish she had been older than she was.
Why?
Because never until it said it would I have been that's a 13-year-old.
Okay.
Or anywhere close. I would have said 17, maybe 16 at the absolute youngest.
See, I think her older brother in that first scene was supposed to be that age. And then she was the younger kid. I do, and then when they talk about at the end of the movie when she's like, I'm gonna live with my aunt and maybe I'll make swords like my dad. Yeah. I wish they had time. They didn't have time. I wish they had time to more show her watching her dad create these things, seeing how they lived before they were wiped out. You know what I mean? Just and that if the movie could have been a little longer, maybe that would have been helpful. I don't know. It wasn't necessarily needed though, because like I said, I was on board with her the whole time.
And I understood her motivation. And like the ending when she was like, I'll live with my aunt and all these stuff, I'm like, okay, now this feels like it's like a child's like, I'll do this like my dad did or whatever. Right. But like the whole time when it's like, I need to kill him, I want revenge, the whole time it's like, yeah, but you're not a 13-year-old. Like I guess maybe I have never been in a situation where it's my whole family was murdered in front of me, so I need to get revenge. But
it was a Batman moment, basically.
Yeah, but Batman doesn't go.
But he went through that as a kid, and that's why he left and got all that
Yeah,
training.
but his thing is, I need to hunt down the one who did. I need to hunt down Joe Chill and murder him right now.
Right. But he was afraid that would be Dick, which is why he. Yeah. In some stories.
For sure, but it would just like, this is a kid who just is so focused on this one thing, doesn't get distracted by anything at all. Yeah. Like I feel like as a kid you'd be like, she's also presumably, it's implied, never left her planet before.
Yeah, that was
so like once she goes to a different planet, you wouldn't be like, ooh, what's this? Right. You would be amazed at all of this. And
well,
it
she
was
knew that
still
the Brigands
fine.
were from off planet though, so that might be a little bit different too, because she's used to aliens. She's used to other species.
And I'm not anywhere close to ever been in her situation, I guess. But
she started by going to a spaceport to look for somebody to help her hunt down these guys.
It just felt like if her character was older, it would have been more believable to me. It wasn't bad at all, but never once the whole time. Like I have to keep going like, oh yeah, she's 13 right now.
And I think they did that because they made her that younger version of Supergirl.
Because when
Supergirl's mom died, I think that's why they did that.
And it worked, and it was fine, and it was great. But it was just like I keep being like, she's 13.
Kept forgetting that she was young.
She's not older than this. I think also it might be I think the action might be probably older than 13.
Yeah.
So it probably also just like this doesn't look like it's a child. Right. Again. She was great. It was a great movie.
The cool thing is, even in those action scenes where Kara doesn't want to be a hero, you could see her checking on the girl, protecting the girl, making sure that what she was doing wasn't hurting.
Every time she would fight, and you also you could see in the bus or whatever. But also when it was a very dark movie.
It was. There were a couple of scenes where I wasn't exactly sure what I was seeing.
But that'd
probably be my only small quip.
That wasn't bad, but it felt almost like, I guess you haven't seen them, but like the late Harry Potter films, like late in the series, because it worked in those kind of okay as well, because as like the tone of it got darker, it was like, okay, we're gonna make it also visually darker as well. But like,
well, that's Warner Brothers too. So
yeah, and that's Warner Bros. Does this quite a bit, and it's usually fine. Like MonsterVerse does this too with the Godzilla films. and it works, but it's like, okay, like Harry Potter movie 8, it's like, okay, we got 8 characters on screen and we can see their silhouettes kind of in someone's face, and it wasn't that bad, but it's like, okay, if it was like a little, just like up the brightness
brighter.
a little bit, so we can see what's going on.
Which I will probably do when I own it. I will, because I want to see what's going on.
And
I had that same problem with the last Batman movie. So much of it was dark that I was like,
another Warner Bros. Movie.
Yeah.
Because the tone matches the filming.
Right.
And if it was just
Which
like,
I understand because they're going for that theme.
Yeah.
But I want to see the movie I'm paying for.
And I think it worked also really good when it's like Superman. It's like very bright. It was like, that's a very vibrant film.
It was.
So it's a very light film.
Yeah.
But even the serious parts of that movie, when it was like the
part
video
where he's
with
fighting,
the video from his parents that
Yeah,
Lex uncorrupts, like, it doesn't get super darker. It doesn't lose saturation. It looks now, we're gone from very vibrant to normal.
Yes.
Like, normal should be your dark, at least for Superman. Yeah. And then Supergirl obviously gets darker, and that's fine thematically. It was just like a little hard to see.
Well, and I think that reflected a lot of ways her emotional state.
Yeah.
Like in the movie starts in a bar basically, and she's in a pretty dark place, and
thematically, good. It's a great way to show this visually, like, and conveying emotion. It was just like, especially the first time the brigands. When the brigands attack, and it's like the room with like the milk, and it's the couple, and it's like, okay, we have this person. Is this the person that we're hunting, or is this just some random brigand? And then it was the guy that we're hunting.
I also think that part of that was to hide the fact that in this movie a lot of people died.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot of fighting, but they killed a lot of people, and they don't mention it much. But a lot of people get killed in this movie, and so I think that it's dark, so you don't necessarily see that.
But where I was mainly trying to go with this point that I've been rambling on now is like when that fight outside in on that planet in the dark, like every time Supergirl like kills because she kills she doesn't care. She just going through killing.
Kill a lot of people.
Like Superman, I don't think kills anybody in this movie. Maybe some of the.
As a matter of fact, he even gets upset when the kaiju dies.
When he does the laser around a circle, are those
those
robots or are those people flying?
I think they're people in suits, and I think he just breaks their suits and makes them fall, which hurts them. But I don't think he's killing anybody.
Okay, well, then yeah. So he doesn't kill anybody in the movie. Does he kill other Superman? No, he just breaks his.
He throws them into
like
that
alarm or whatever.
Thing.
So he lets them die. Doesn't outright kill him.
We don't even know if he dies. There's a big theory that he's going to end up Bizarro.
Bizarro? Okay. I mean, that kind of... Anyway. But it was like, okay, she kills 2 people. Okay, where are all the brides? And, like, who's looking around and like, okay, here's a woman. Okay, kill more people. Right. And, like, that worked. And that was fine. And I liked the Lobo action. I thought that was really good. I think Lobo's really cool.
Right.
Or, like, the fight in the bar was really cool, too.
It was almost missed... You blink and you miss it. Lobo took that guy's head. Put it in a bag.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Because he was like, oh, and the guy got on the motorcycle. He was like, oh, that's bold. And then they killed him immediately.
You're on my hog. Nope.
I think, not that I need it to be graphic and bloody and need rated R, but I felt like those kind of scenes almost would have been better by a rated R thing. Especially when the pirate kills the couple and then the daughter who was the bride.
Yeah.
When it was like that was an impact. Like that was.
It was a very important.
Very
scene, because the little girl blames Kara. I was sitting there going, "That was Kara's fault," and the little girl's like, "That was your fault." I was like, "Okay, I can see where." I was like, "That's a big deal," and that was one of those pivotal moments.
And because you don't expect that kind of thing, it's especially when you meet them and they have names, and it's like, "Oh yeah, our daughter are taken." It's like, okay,
Supergirl's gonna save their daughter.
Nope, them and their daughter is gonna get murdered. And it's like, that's on screen. It's like, if there was blood there, that would have been so much more impactful.
That's another thing I mentioned
too
about the villain, because the villain, Krem,
Krem of the Yellow Hills.
Yeah, he's this generic villain, but he does these super dastardly things throughout the movie to remind us, this is a real bad dude, and this is why this little girl wants him dead.
And there was at some point in time when, I think it's the ending. I think, spoilers, by the way. I've
said that a couple times.
But when Supergirl kills him with the sword, and then pull the sword back out, and it's just like fine. I was like, "Where's the blood?" It's just like
PG-13 movie.
Like we don't.
And he's an alien. We don't know what color he bleeds.
We don't need the. If they had it like yellow, they would have been fine with it or something, or any other color that's not red. They would have been gotten through such just fine. But we don't need the blood. We're just like, only there was like,
Right.
if only you could put some there, it'd be like.
Well, it's not a Conan movie.
It would like make
She's not
it
gonna lick
better.
the blade.
No, but if it was like she holds up, and it was like dripping, or there was like, then the blood goes up in the light, and it's like all pristine, and it's like,
well, that's like
this is a really good sword.
She stabs him. She doesn't cut his head off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's different ways, and again, the audience for this movie was a PG-13,
and
movie,
it's not
so.
a bad thing.
It's
It's
not.
just like a little bit like, oh, that would be like even more impactful. If there was like a bit of blood here,
And that's
or
the
just
kind of
blood
story that, like in the novelization of this movie, that might be mentioned more, or that might be part of it. But as the movie as a whole, I think because the parameters that they're working within, they had to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was a bad thing. I think this was a solid B+ for me. I think I like this
I'd
movie.
probably give it like a 90.
I'm like 85, 87-ish in there, that solid B+ A- range. That's where I am with this movie. And to me, that's a win. That's a huge win. I don't think he needs to bat everything out of the park. And that's the other thing too. James Gunn did not direct this movie.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn did not write this movie. James Gunn greenlit this movie with his studio production, which happens to be the new DC universe, and this is what he said. This is the story.
I'm sure
that
you
needs to
say
be told
like we need
universe.
we need XYZ to happen in this movie.
Right, and I'm sure that
whatever.
he helped to connect it with Superman.
With
and said,
Cord
what if
Sweat,
do
and
this,
like
and
we
what
have this
yeah.
guy here and that kind of thing.
And that's the thing too. This movie took place entirely off planet, except for like little tiny chunks that we saw, and I think that gave him the freedom to be able to explore the wider universe and not have to worry about how is this going to affect Clayface. How is this going to affect my next movie? How is this going to affect my reveal of Batman? How is this going to affect how Kara deals with the Justice Gang? It didn't have to do any of that. So people are complaining this wasn't enough world building. Dude, pay attention to the movie you're watching.
It builds 3 different planets.
Right.
It builds different solar color.
The moon,
like,
or the sun thing, yeah.
The different
red sun,
stuff.
the yellow sun, the green sun that can
It
kill
builds
Kryptonian,
all of
that's
that.
huge.
It builds the different alien races. It shows how Kara can speak multiple different alien races because she goes up on the bus and is like, whatever to the other lady. And it was like, you put your bag in front of her feet, which calling your mother a whore or whatever.
And it shows Lobo and brings him out. He's a thing out there now. And he knows Kara.
Mm-hmm.
He know and now he's got that lead. So if something happens and Lobo comes to Earth, he's got this connection to Kara. And I absolutely loved one of the favorite things that they put in there. And I don't know if this was scripted or if he came up with it or whatever, but when he keeps calling Supergirl tits, and I thought that was just hilarious. Because it is so Lobo. That is perfect. He's a disrespectful jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But when he saw what that little girl did in that jail cell and how that worked, she earned his respect. And you could see that this guy has that code. This guy is the main man. And I don't understand people not liking this. And like you said, there are people who are like, oh, there wasn't enough. And then there are other people who are like, oh, there was too much. This was perfect. It was the perfect amount for what they wanted to do. Lobo was a tease in this movie. And it was played perfectly for that effect. So again, final thoughts from you. Mine is this was a critical success. I'm glad we saw it. I would see it again. I plan to own it.
All of that. I mean, I don't plan to own my own copy because I don't.
Here.
Yeah. So, but everything else I agree with. The one thing that, like, at the end, I knew they couldn't do it, but I was like, oh, it'd be so good if Supergirl took the girl with her. Mm-hmm. Because it's like they've set this whole movie building like how similar they are and like how like Kara's like getting revenge is not gonna that's not gonna fix anything. Like that's not gonna change
Kara was
anything.
able to give that girl the one thing she doesn't have. Mm-hmm. She put her back with her family.
Yeah, and that's great. But and because the whole time I'm thinking like she doesn't have anybody she's going back to because I didn't know about the aunt. We didn't know about the aunt. So I'm like, she's going back as a 13-year-old by herself? What's going on here? Right. And so I was like, okay, Kara's gotta take her in or something, but that doesn't make any sense because this character is not
stable.
Well known enough. No, well, Kara's not stable enough to raise anyone.
Yet, right.
But also,
she barely take care of her dog.
Yeah, but also I have never heard of the character before.
Right.
And I like
as far as I know, she's in that story.
And I like DC a lot. So I mean, I haven't read a lot of comics. Like I like DC a lot. So there's no way this is a character that's like super popular and well known a ton. So it's
Well-
not like we can be like, yep, now she's here and a black one of the universe. It's like she's obviously a character that's like she's might be mentioned,
Right.
but is never going to appear again.
Well,
Never going to appear again.
Since the 1980s, DC has had a problem with Supergirl itself in almost that same vein. They don't know what to do with her. They don't know where to put her. They don't know how old to make her. They don't know how the relationship is with Clark. And they've tried different things. And for a while, Supergirl was this fake blob thing called Matrix. Then she was a angel's soul or a demon soul. It was really weird.
I think it'd be cool to pair up with like other like get her others from Superman. Get her
Well, and
go
if-
pair up with
In
somebody
the
else.
animated universe, they throw her into the future and stick her with the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, or like in the Batman animated series when she's friends with Barbara.
Right.
Like that would be fun like to see in the future too. I don't know if how comic accurate that is or
Well,
anything. or
and
that
that's
was just-
that was a
did
different
that.
Supergirl too,
Yeah.
where they created.
I don't know that
and
was just made for that show or whatever,
this
but
one,
that was like
now
that
she,
was real
now
fun.
she's got potential. She could be. She could go anywhere. She could do anything.
Well, that was a great episode too, and it was like
was.
Livewire, Poison Ivy.
there's been stuff where she's been a almost ward of Wonder Woman. You know, and she goes to
Yeah.
Themyscira and works on powers with Amazons and stuff. And I mean, James Gunn right now in his universe, I'm sure he has a plan of where she's going to fit in.
for sure.
But we didn't have to know that from. This
But I
movie.
also don't assume it's going to be a
Mom.
Supergirl too. Oh well, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a mom
and
anytime
that's why
soon.
That's why.
But it's not going to be in Supergirl too or anything.
But I mean, we don't because I assume
I also don't
in
see,
the next
like,
Superman movie
I'm
that
I
they're talking
assume
about,
she's going to be there.
because she was just here at the end.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to mention her. or
But I
something.
also don't even think I really see this character as like someone who's like, I'm gonna go beyond Justice League or whatever. It's gonna be like this is a character who's like, I'm gonna work by myself or with Clark maybe sometimes.
Right. Well, in Peacemaker season 2,
I'm working on watching that.
at the beginning of that, when they wind up season 1
Mm-hmm.
and they redo the ending scene with the Justice Gang instead of the Justice League from the previous universe, you see Mr. Terrific, you see Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, and then you see Superman and Kara in shadow. So she has worked with the Justice Gang before, but I think you're right. She's not like a
But I mean, so
joining-
is Superman. Superman's not part of the Justice Gang.
Right.
He's not part of that.
Right.
He
but,
just
but
works
in,
with them
in
quite
the
a
in the
bit.
Superman movie, they know him enough to know about the glasses. They know who he is.
Yeah.
They know, so, but Superman more often than not is working by himself. And
I think
for
it's
Kara's
a
gonna be the
less
same way.
of Superman works by himself and more of a I work with you guys, but I don't want to be part of it because I don't want to be owned by a corporation or whatever.
Okay,
or
so,
not owned,
so
but
instead
like
of final thoughts, let me ask you this: where do you see her? Where do you hope they kind of go with her in the future? Because you just brought that up, so I'm kind of wondering, what would you like to see?
I mean, we don't know much about what's
We
going.
don't.
We know
I think I would like to see her
Clayface
myself.
is going to show up
No, no,
eventually.
right.
I mean, no,
But
I'm
she's
just.
not going to have anything to do with that movie.
Oh no, I'm just thinking
I
like
mean her.
what do we know that's even going to happen?
We don't. We know that there's going to be a Superman movie.
we know
where
we're
he
going
teams
to
up with
see
Lex Luthor
yeah,
or something
against
She's
Brainiac or
she'll-
whatever.
she'll probably be
Superman,
in that.
we know the Superman 2, Clayface, Batman Breaking the Bold. Eventually, maybe at some point, that's supposed to be Batman and
But I'm
Damian,
talking
which I don't even
Kara-
want to get into that
I'm
now.
talking Kara specifically. What would you like to see? I think for me,
I would now
I'd
that
like to
I've
see her spend some time calming down, relaxing. Maybe go out to Kansas, hang out with Ma and Pa Kent, let the dog run around in the fields. Harass some cows.
I don't think that's
Get-
something we would see though. I think that
No,
happened
but I
off
mean
screen.
that's just
I
it.
think
I'd like
something
to see
that I
with
yeah.
for Kara to go somewhere now that she's on Earth to get that appreciation of what's going on.
I want to see her make friends. I want to
Me
see
too.
her make friends on Earth who are like around her age or like maybe like I brought it up. Barbara would
Yeah.
be if
I don't
we're
know where
getting
they
a
are with
Barbara.
the
What's
Batman
going
stuff
on?
yet.
What's
Yeah.
Unless we see Batman, we'll have Clayface. We'll have Greenlit. Eventually, it's supposed to be a dynamic duo.
Right now, the only
But that
female
movie's
superhero
supposed
we've
to
seen
be-
is Hawk Girl.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a movie with Nightwing and Red Hood working together,
Okay.
like an animated film. in a
This
couple
the
years. That'll
the
be
universe
cool
has lots
if
of
we get
places
that.
to go, and
Yeah.
I think Kara can fit into many of those.
For
One
sure.
of the things I did want to mention before we go, and I know we had already talked about final points, but I just remembered something. There was an almost autistic scene where when Kara's learning her superpowers and she starts to get overwhelmed, she grabs the headphones, she puts on the headphones, she uses music to calm herself, to center herself, to relax.
Yeah.
And then the music, so I want to talk about that too, because the music of this movie, that's where I've heard another group of people complaining and stuff. Oh, you should have used About a Girl, you should have done that. I thought the music was very well. I thought it suited the movie.
I do not think superhero movies need amazing soundtracks. That's
either.
not how superhero movies work. If you look at, Iron Man, I can't point out because that has AC/DC.
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk has a bad. Hang on. Now you think of a good movie that has a bad soundtrack. Captain America movies.
Okay.
I guess Captain America 1 is not very good in my opinion because I don't like war. I don't like war movies very much. So
Okay,
Captain America
we're
2
talking
and
about
3.
the soundtrack of this
Captain
movie.
America 2. Name one song from it.
I can't.
You can't, but it's a great movie.
Yeah. I didn't see that one in the theater either.
Superhero films do not need a soundtrack that's good.
I agree.
Something like Guardians needs
Was
a
based on the
soundtrack.
soundtrack.
That's a huge part of its thing.
But James,
Superman doesn't have a great soundtrack. It has some good songs. It has like the song Mr. Terrific, like that's playing with Mr. Terrific or whatever. Like that's fun. That's a fun scene.
Right.
But the movie does not live or die by its soundtrack, and I don't think a movie has to.
But I thought the emotional beats that the music used in the movie fit.
Yes.
And I think if you pay attention to the beginning part, when you see that Kara is putting on the music to drown out what's going on around her and to focus, music enhances your emotional state. So the emotional state she's in matched the music that was playing. That's all I was trying to say. Is I thought the music was chosen very well. I don't need to hear. I'm just a girl in every single superhero movie that has a girl a girl as the main character. That's asinine. And so for the people who are like, oh, you should have played this. No, I thought the song was fine. The version they used of the song, I think I like the original better.
And even if you're
It's just
like,
'cause I'm
oh,
not
well, you
used to
should have
it.
used this song or that song. That's an opinion. That's not like this movie's bad because it didn't use this song.
But that's one of the
that's
one of
like
the criticisms
saying-
people are
yeah.
giving it is that the soundtrack.
That's like saying, oh, Superman's bad because it has Guy Gardner in it, so it's
Right.
terrible. Like that's not a complaint.
But that's what I'm saying is, that's what people are complaining about.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a legitimate complaint. I think we've torn down most of the complaints.
If that's the
we've
kind of
heard
thing you're
online.
complaining about, then your opinion doesn't really matter. Then
And you should watch the
and
movie
if you're
as a movie.
and if your only complaint is, well, this song could have been picked differently, then it was a good movie.
Right. Yes. So again, final thoughts.
Really good. 9 out of 10. Really good movie. I would watch it again. I'd pay to see it again.
Okay.
I thought it was really, really good.
So from the men here at the cave, we recommend this. If you haven't seen it, don't dog it. And if you have seen it, what
Don't
did you
dog it
think?
anyway.
And you can tell us if we're wrong. Tell us in the comments. But if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to hear your comment about it. You got to go watch it first. And if you haven't seen the movie, I recommend it. I really do. I think this is a theater experience. You'll enjoy it more that way. Do I think it's also worth buying? Yes. But while it's still in the theaters, go support the things that you say that you love. All right. Until we've got another one from here at the Men in the Cave. Have a good night.